Imagine a realm so vast it connected the East and West, yet crumbled almost as quickly as it rose. At its peak, the Mongol Empire controlled a quarter of the world's landmass, facilitating trade and ideas across continents. Genghis Khan, a man born into poverty, unified the Mongols through sheer will and revolutionary tactics. How did a handful of nomadic warriors build an empire larger than Rome's, only to see it disintegrate within generations? Their legacy reshaped global history, influencing everything from warfare to diplomacy for centuries. In this video, we'll uncover the military genius that allowed them to conquer from China to Hungary. We'll explore the political strategies and cultural exchanges that defined the Pax Mongolica. We'll examine how succession crises and the Black Death accelerated the empire's decline. But why did such a powerful entity fall apart so swiftly? And what lessons does it hold for us today? This is the story of how ambition, innovation, and division shaped the destiny of millions. In the harsh and unforgiving Mongolian steppes of the late 12th century, a boy named Temujin faced a world of constant tribal warfare and personal danger. His father was tragically poisoned when he was just 9 years old, leaving his family vulnerable and ostracized from their tribe. Temujin endured years of hardship, captivity, and profound betrayals that forged an unbreakable spirit and fierce determination. Through strategic marriages and bold alliances, he slowly gathered followers and challenged the existing tribal leaders. But how did this outcast from the steppes unite the fiercely independent Mongol clans into a single powerful force? The answer lies in his revolutionary vision and his ability to inspire loyalty through merit and shared purpose. Genghis Khan implemented a radical meritocracy where warriors were promoted based solely on skill and dedication. This system created an army that was incredibly motivated, efficient, and utterly devoted to their great Khan. He organized his troops into decimal units, ensuring perfect coordination and rapid communication during the chaos of battle. The Mongols perfected the art of horseback archery, firing arrows with deadly accuracy while riding at full gallop. Their legendary mobility enabled them to traverse hundreds of miles in just days, appearing and disappearing like ghosts on the plains. Imagine a military force so agile that it could strike anywhere and vanish before the enemy could respond. By the early 13th century, Genghis Khan had consolidated his power and turned his attention to richer lands beyond the steppes. His first major target was the immensely wealthy Jin dynasty in northern China, a civilization with vast resources and strong fortifications. The Mongols employed advanced siege engines learned from conquered peoples, like catapults and battering rams. They also used psychological warfare, spreading terror by destroying cities that resisted their advance. This reputation for ruthlessness often caused other cities to surrender immediately to avoid certain destruction. Interestingly, Genghis Khan frequently integrated skilled soldiers from defeated armies into his own growing forces. This practice not only strengthened his military, but also brought diverse tactics and knowledge into the Mongol war machine. Under his command, the empire expanded rapidly, conquering territories from China to Central Asia in a breathtakingly short time. They subjugated the Khwarezmian Empire in a series of brutal campaigns that showcased their strategic superiority. Following Genghis Khan's death in 1227, his formidable sons and grandsons eagerly continued the relentless expansion. Ogedei Khan, his third son, aggressively pushed the empire's frontiers deep into Europe, reaching the heart of Hungary. At the Battle of Mohi in 1241, the Mongols demonstrated their tactical brilliance with perfect feigned retreats and encirclements. They lured the Hungarian army into a trap and annihilated them with coordinated attacks from all sides. Meanwhile, in the distant east, the ambitious Kublai Khan focused on completing the monumental conquest of all China. Kublai Khan established the magnificent Yuan dynasty, beautifully blending Mongol and Chinese cultural traditions. He moved the capital to Khanbalik, modern Beijing, and embraced Chinese customs to rule more effectively. Under his visionary rule, the empire absolutely reached its glorious peak of power and immense territorial extent. This incredible era, famously known as the Pax Mongolica, fostered unprecedented peace and exchange along the Silk Road. Goods like silk, spices, and porcelain flowed freely from east to west, while ideas and technologies spread in return. European travelers like Marco Polo journeyed to China, bringing back stories of its wonders to the West. This exchange introduced Europe to Chinese inventions like gunpowder, the compass, and printing techniques. In return, the Mongols adopted administrative practices from Persia and China, enhancing their governance across the empire. However, the empire's colossal size, its greatest strength, also contained the poisonous seeds of its eventual destruction. Bitter succession disputes erupted violently after the death of each great Khan, sparking devastating civil wars. For example, after Ogedei's death, a period of regency and conflict weakened central authority significantly. The vast territories became an administrative nightmare, impossible to manage efficiently from a single central capital. Severe economic strains began to appear as the empire struggled to pay for its massive military and infrastructure. They relied heavily on plunder from continuous conquests, but once expansion slowed, revenue declined sharply. Then, in the mid-14th century, the horrific Black Death swept mercilessly across all of Eurasia. This devastating plague killed many millions of people, completely shattering the vital trade networks. Demographic collapse made it impossible to maintain large armies and administer the vast territories effectively. By the late 14th century, the once unified Mongol Empire had splintered into competing khanates. These separate states, like the Golden Horde in Russia and the Ilkhanate in Persia, often fought bloody wars against each other. Internal conflicts and external pressures, such as the rise of new powers, gradually eroded their dominance over time. In 1258, the Mongols brutally sacked the magnificent city of Baghdad, ending the Abbasid Caliphate. This event symbolized the absolute peak of Mongol power, but also highlighted their terrifying ruthlessness. Kublai Khan's embrace of Chinese culture created a wonderfully sophisticated hybrid administration in China. However, this very integration provoked fierce resistance from more traditional Mongol factions, causing internal strife. The mighty Yuan dynasty in China finally collapsed in 1368 due to widespread rebellion and economic decay. The Black Death not only caused unimaginable death, but also wrecked the economy beyond any hope of quick recovery. Yet, the profound legacy of the Mongol Empire endured for many centuries after its fall. Their revolutionary innovations in warfare and global trade left a permanent mark on world history. The Silk Road connections they fostered paved the way for the age of exploration in Europe later on. So, what crucial lessons can we possibly learn from this colossal empire's spectacular rise and fall? Perhaps it teaches us about the inherent dangers of relentless overexpansion and unstable leadership. Or maybe it reveals how incredible cultural exchange can flourish even during times of intense conflict and conquest. The Mongol Empire's rise was powered by brilliant adaptability, innovation, and a unifying vision under strong leadership. Its tragic fall resulted from deep internal divisions, economic pressures, and overwhelming external events like the plague. Today, we can still see their vast influence in modern military strategy and the foundations of global commerce. This epic story of ambition, unity, and fragmentation remains a powerful reminder of the cycles that shape human history. The Mongol Empire's ascent from the steppes to global dominance is a testament to human ingenuity and relentless drive. But its downfall reveals a cruel irony. The very strategies that enabled conquest also bred the instability that caused collapse. In today's world, we see reflections of their legacy in how nations navigate trade and conflict on a global scale. This story urges us to learn from their experience, that lasting influence depends on balancing ambition with unity. Their empire shows us that while conquest can build power, only cohesion can sustain it through challenges. This incredible journey through history reminds us of the cycles that shape human civilizations. What key insights from the Mongol Empire's history do you believe are most relevant to our current global situation? Now, I'm really interested in what you make of all this. Feel free to share your insights below or show some love with a like. And as we wrap up, consider this final thought. In our own pursuits, how do we avoid the pitfalls that doomed great empires?